Good morning, Warriors. Morning talk for January 9th, 2022. Hope you guys are well today. Hope things are going well. This is Sunday, so I'm going to do a morning talk, and then the rest of the day is the Sabbath day for me. So I'll probably try to do a couple tomorrow if we can. But good morning. Hope everything's going well. We got a little bit of warmer weather here in the Midwest. Still pretty cold outside and slick ice, and so be careful if you guys are in the Midwest or having a lot of problems with snow and ice and rain. So be careful out there, warriors. Take care of yourselves. Be the best version of yourself that you can be. So let me see what I want to kind of comment on some things today. So we had a couple good questions today and comments, and I'm going to kind of go into some of these type of things as we go along. What if you don't know, and please go ahead and subscribe, comment, like, and I'm going to also put donation, I think, link on this one. If you get a chance and your heart feels like it, please go ahead and donate. We're going to go try to expand ourselves this year and do more things to kind of offer to you guys to give you more information. But certainly, it is all greatly appreciated, and I'm very grateful for all of that. So Ishar Israel, I believe, and if I said that wrong, please forgive me. But he asked a question about how to stop wet dreams. And so let's kind of focus on that one a little bit. Also, Willingness is Heaven sent me something I need to again look into more. Isha Kyra, I believe I'm saying that right. And so, that's also something I want to kind of touch on. And I want to kind of focus on something that I heard the other day about the fact that you've changed as a person. And that's something we're going to kind of look at too. And then the best version of yourself, which is what we're kind of focusing on. So let's go back to this idea of wet dreams. So I think I did a video on this a while back ago. Let me get a drink for a second. Of my tea. We did a video on this before, and I think the key is to kind of look at trying to use your sleep in a constructive way. At least is what I do. So I have goals that I set up before heading to bed. And so what I try to do is I allow myself then through repetition, is to use my focus ability. Now, my focus ability is different now than it was before. Before I went on the streak and before I got the benefits of retention, I could not focus like this at night. So when I meditate, I tend to go to meditation and I focus on these goals that I have. I have a couple major goals that I focus on, and I will continue to focus on those. So every time my mind wanders to other types of things, I do that. And then I will go to sleep after the meditation. And so at that point, then, I have not had those type of wet dreams. And so that's something to kind of think about as you go along. The idea is that you want to go ahead and have things occupy your mind. And as you occupy your mind, you're not going to have any kind of, possible thoughts. Now, that's not saying that you're still not going to have those type of things that are out there. Those things can always come into your mind at any point while you're sleeping. And I've had dreams about lots of different types of things. But what you really want to do is you want to go ahead and try to, at least before going to sleep, try to occupy your mind as much as possible with this type of goal and something you want to focus on other than, obviously, any kind of images or anything like that. Now, of course, this is not foolproof, and you're not going to be able to stop. There's very little you can do, in my opinion. And this happened to me when I was very young. It's very hard because you're thinking about it all the time. Men tend to think about these type of things, especially when they're younger, almost every 20, 30 seconds. There's some thought pattern that goes into that and thinking about that, especially when they're younger, because they have high energy levels, high testosterone, things like that. And it's not until a little bit later you do that. So if you're a young person, you're going to struggle with some of this, especially as you're on your streak more, because you're going to have some excess type of energy. Now you have to use that energy. Now I'm not saying it's bad. I think one of the things that was the question that was asked a long time ago is that if you're doing this, if you did this, does this count against your streak? I would say no. This is just my opinion. I would say no, because I think you can't control that part of it. I think if it's something that's voluntary that you're doing, that you're actually, kind of voluntary type of action, then I think it does count. But I don't think it counts if it's something that just happens. But nonetheless, you're going to feel, upset about it, and I understand that because I did too. But the thing that you want to do is keep your mind as occupied on other things as you possibly can. If you do that, your chances then decrease. It's not going to be impossible, but like I said, the more active you are in your goals and things you're doing, the more it keeps your mind off of these things. Now, is Satan still going to come into your life and present you ideas? Yes, there's times it's going to happen. But the one thing you do not want to do is allow your dreams to go ahead and influence you. I think I did one called Nightfall, was another way that people put it. That goes into going back then and relapsing. And that's the thing you do not want to do. And so that's a key type of thing. But thank you, Ashar. I appreciate your comment. I hope I helped a little bit too. And once again, there's not too much you can do about it except keep your mind as much as possible focused away from this. That's why I had to finally go to monk mode. And that's worked out a lot. I think I'm at 106 days of monk mode. And somewhere 580, something like that, I think it is, with the no fat. Okay? All right. So let's go to the second thing. I don't know, Kyra, I will look into this. Thank you. Willingness in Heaven gave me this suggestion. I will look into that. I'm always interested in trying to talk about and find new ways of doing things. Like I said, there's a lot more knowledgeable people out there than I am on these type of things. And, it's always good to kind of go ahead and kind of try and look and see how you can become better. And I guess that's the whole thing. You want to become the best version of yourself that you can. That is the whole key to what we're talking about. And that's the whole idea. I think that's important to recognize that no one is perfect. No one's going to be free of mistakes or free of sins. We all commit those. But recognizing those and trying to change those and become the best person you become over time is really the best thing you do. And I think it does start with this idea of self-discipline. And you may not realize it, but you're a changed person. As the longer you are in the streak, the longer you become a different person. Now, I will say this goes back to the original self you're at, the state. Now, I'm not talking about necessary skills you have or things you've learned through your life. So I'll equate this as maybe a state of equilibrium or some kind of natural state that your body and soul is in. Now, it doesn't mean that you've not changed over the years. Of course, you've changed. But when it comes to your natural state and level of energy, you had a level. It's almost like you're looking at a let's look at a glass of tea here, okay? So if your glass of tea I had started was filled up to the top here, right, of the brim of the cup, and if I'm releasing energy, all of a sudden now I'm down to about the middle, okay? So when I was about 10 years old, and I had no clue of this at the time, my glass was filled to the top. But as time goes on, you go through the stage that I did for 40-some years, is going back and forth, down and up with the level of energy in my cup. And so as I'm looking at this, then you look and say, okay, well now you're becoming less of yourself. So your energy level is not the same. So that's the last time I remember being in the type of state that I'm in now, where I'm not really all that interested in the birds flying over me, with temptation. I'm trying to avoid all levels of temptation that I can. Now, it's not that you don't think about those things. Those things come in the patterns all the time. And it's hard not to, right? I mean, when you change, other people notice you change. You know, people don't, they may not be able to recognize it, but they sense your strength. They sense your energy. I had, you know, this is Sunday, Friday. You know, at several places at work. I work at different places. I feel it all the time. I feel people they look at you a certain way. And males, this is males and females. Right now, there's been a few cases where males, I think, get upset, and they might be upset because they're sensing the energy. Very few people can put a name or label to this because they don't practice retention. They don't know the term, whether it's celibacy, whatever you want to call it. They don't know the term. They don't understand the process. And so they don't know what's happening to you. Now, I think subconsciously and biologically, we all have our basic mechanism that we go to that governs a lot of us. And we may not realize that, and we try to control it, but in the long run, you can't really control it. It comes out. And people can sense your energy when you're on these type of things. They sense it. It's just strength. It's just power. It's just a force that you're in. And I'm not talking about force. I'm talking about force. A real strong force. Okay? And so, when you're on this force, people can notice it. I mean, it's just amazing the reaction I get from, especially from young ladies who I just, you know, move past, say hi to, and they're just glowing. It's not something that happened before, and I could tell the difference. The difference you can tell is if you run into the same people and talk with them. When you were on your streak before, and you're on a streak now, as compared to when you were not on a streak. And this place I've been at, I worked for, you know, I've been there for 7-8 years, and so all those years I got different interactions with people then as I do now, especially with the young ladies. It's just unbelievable to me. I mean, I'm not really interested in that because I'm trying to focus on my goals, and so it's not really something that, you know, I will ever pursue, but it's something that just noticeable. And you go back and have to attribute that to something, you know, and what has changed in me is the difference. It's not that they've changed all. You know, the young 20, 25-year-old women have not changed. But for them to be more attracted, come up and start conversations, and do things in their interactions with me that have changed, and the males are the same way. To have positive, people coming up to you, you know, trying, even in times like we have now, coming up to you and having conversations and treating you differently. And I, as a scientist, you know, for many years ago and doing research, that to me is the biggest difference. If you can measure two things, and I go by people, you measure two things, and at different points in an experiment. If I would do an experiment with the people I'm talking about, and I could look and see, okay, what happened before that? I can tell you things that happened before that. But I also was different as well. Now I'm a different person. And this is why I say we have changed. You have changed as a person by doing this, because the same people that interacted with me in a certain way before are now acting in so much more of a positive way now. I mean, I get people who flirt with me, all kinds of different things that did not happen before. I think it's just amazing. And so as a scientist, I would say, okay, I have to go ahead and kind of figure out what's the difference. And the difference really comes down to the fact that I went on this streak. And all the benefits of streak, I believe, make you a stronger person, confident person, and people see that. And that's why I say that your life has changed and you're becoming the best version of yourself. All right, so I hope you guys have a great morning. And we will talk again tomorrow for our morning talk. Until then, battle on.